Hello everyone and welcome to my vlog for today. Host or hostage? So when we start to open up to life, we have an opportunity to either be hostage to our fears, our old patterns, our old triggers, or we can be hosted by divine inspiration. And it's always our choice. So I want you to consider it in this way. Consider you have two guests that have come to your house. They're sitting on the same couch, but one guest keeps on saying, well, I'd love a glass of water. Actually, you know what? Do you have sparkling water? Oh, you don't have sparkling water? Well, okay. I mean, maybe do you have not tap water? Do you have purified water? Do you have a water purifier? And I also love some snacks. I'd love some chips. I'd love some dip. Oh, you don't have any dip? I mean, how do you not have dip at your house? You should have dip at your house, but okay, I guess you don't have any. That's fine. Do you have any pretzels? Do you have any cheese with those pretzels? No, you don't have cheese with those pretzels. While you have your other guest that's sitting on the same couch, just maybe the opposite end, that's saying, hey, can I help you with that? Hey, would you like some assistance with that? Hey, I actually know where to get purified water. Hey, I actually have some dip with me. Hey, I actually have some cheese. And it's giving you all of these solutions, but you are so focused on this other guest that you've actually become a hostage to them, where you are serving them and you're not paying attention to your other guest, nor are you paying attention to your own needs and to what you would like to do, because you are hostage. They have taken all of your attention and said, focus here. This is where your attention is. This is where it needs to be. When instead, it doesn't have to be. We can instead sit down with our new host. And that's where things start to get really interesting, because the ego would have us live, and that's who we're hostage to, or could be hostage to, is our own egos, because the ego is all about keeping our attention on it. And it would much rather us stay in a deep, dark room where maybe we step on the same rake every day, but at least we know where the rake is. We still hurt ourselves every day, but at least I know where the rake is. Where our new host would actually open the door to that little closet and lead us into a giant, beautifully lit, open space, ready for us to explore. But that's our choice. We get to either be the hostage to our ego or the host to the divinity that is within us. And we always have that choice. So we have to ask ourselves, how long am I willing to continue to play this game with my ego of focusing only on it, instead of focusing on my host who's offering me a brand new way to look at life? We can, like I said in the beginning, we can either be bound by our fears, or we can be inspired with hope and discovery and growth and healing and joy and happiness. But it's our choice. We have to choose what we're going to focus on. And just like I say in my 8 weeks of guidance course, it doesn't mean that bad things aren't going to happen when you start working with spirit. Because remember, your ego knows every trigger for you, and it's going to throw it at you to get you to pay attention to it, because the Course in Miracles tells us that without your focus, without your attention, the ego wouldn't even exist. So it's always going to try to claw at you and be like, look at me, look at me, look at me, look over here, I need to drink up water. Oh, I spilled my water. Oh, I spilled the dip. Oh, I spilled the cheese. Oh, I put it all over your fancy little carpet. It's always going to try and do that because it wants us to come and focus on it instead of focusing on our host, which is, divine inspiration that's going to lead us. And it's going to say, okay, well, the ego's thrown this thing at you. And the beautiful thing is, our host says, let me take care of that for you. Let me take care of that for you. Not, okay, well, you need to go take care of that before I can lead you any further. No, 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 no. Your host says, let me go take care of that for you. Now, of course, we still believe that we need to do things, so it's okay to ask, what would you have me do? Where would you have me go? What would you have me say? And to whom? Absolutely fine. But just realize that every time, that's just the ego trying to get your attention because it needs your focus in order to continue its existence. And it knows that, which makes it furious and angry. And it would, our host will sit there patiently forever and ever until you are willing to look at it, because that host knows the truth about you. And it knows the truth about itself as well. It knows that it is part of the wholeness of the whole entire universe, of all love and joy and happiness. And it knows it is eternal, and it knows you as eternal. And it will sit there and wait for you to say, you know what, this game of, catering over here is getting real old. I think I'm ready to be hosted. I think I'm ready to just be led instead of me trying to figure everything out, because that's another thing the ego loves to do. It wants to figure everything out. I got to figure out how to do this. I got to figure out how to do that. I got to figure out this. When your host will say, let me help you with that. As long as you still believe that you need to do things, it'll say, let me help you with that. Let me bring the right person to you. Let me bring the right situation. I'm your host. I'm here to cater to you. How beautiful does that sound? Instead of constantly catering over to this other, aspect and saying, oh my God, okay, yeah, I'm going to get you that. Okay, I'm going to get you that. Okay, I'm going to get you that. I'm going to get you this. I'm going to get you that. Instead of just being hosted and being the host to this divine force that already exists within you and is ready for you to call on it at any given point in time. So my invitation through this vlog for today is start hosting the divine. How can you start that process? How can you start to host the divine within you? Start asking for its help with, like I always say, with little things. Don't go these big gigantic things. Start small. What would you have me wear? What would you have me eat? Which way should I go to work? Which way should I go for a walk? Should I go for a walk? There's tons of beautiful little things you can ask to start building up that trust and start focusing more on that. Another great way, focus on the things that bring you joy. Focus on the things that make you happy. It's another way to invite in that divine presence within you. And it's another way that you're starting to host it, because you're starting to focus on what's real. And that's that joy, that love, that exaltation. And it's just another way of inviting that in. And like I said, let your host deal with everything that the ego's gonna, throw at you. Your hostage person is gonna throw at you. It's gonna throw it. And just let your host deal with it instead of you trying to deal with it. So those are my invitations for today. I thank you for joining me. I thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you later on. Bye for now.